and Kitty here to say, pop culture fun in every way. Music, TV, movies, oh so bright. Join us for a blast tonight. Sister and brother rocking the flow, sharing all the things you need to know. Kathy and Kenny always in the mix. Pop culture fun fix to fix. Pop culture kids podcast crew. Tune in and let the topics move. Kathy and Kenny make it fun. Pop culture talk for everyone. It's for everyone. I brought some for everyone. Pop culture kids podcast crew. Tune in and let the topics move. Kathy and Kenny make it fun. Pop culture talk for everyone.
It's Saturday night
Time for your weekly dose of pop culture.
with Kathy and Kenny. Welcome to the show.
Welcome. It is time for Pop Culture Kids on a Sunday night, coming to you from the North and the South, North Carolina, South Jersey, with the brother and sister team of Kathy and Kenny. I am Kathy and Kenny. How are you, my brother?
I am
You're
doing
absolutely
good.
speechless. Oh, how is the weather where
Huh?
you are? Because we have I don't even know whether it's an inch of snow, and it is just kicking our butts.
The weather is, we don't have snow, but the weather is cold.
Mm. Well, we have
Very
cold, we have
cold here.
snow. We have another virtual school day tomorrow, so yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah, virtual.
Well, I got to drive my behind into work tomorrow.
Not pretty.
And
Not
we had
pretty to
snow
see.
last week, and I still had to drive my behind into work tomorrow. So, yeah, we don't, a little bit of snow don't mean nothing to us.
Oh, I know.
Lisa, how
I
you
know.
doing?
Hey, Lisa. It is Sunday night. Thank you so much for joining us wherever you are. Hopefully you are safe. Our thoughts and even concerns, because our cousin is out there in California with those folks dealing with the wildfires. So we're from one extreme
Yes.
to the end. On the East Coast, we're dealing with the Russia cold weather, snow in some parts. And I know in California, they're just dealing with the devastation of the wildfires.
I
So,
actually had a talk with our cousin Kari,
okay.
who is in California. Had a talk with him,
Isn't he
I'm
near
going to say
Bakersfield?
Friday.
Okay.
No, he's not in Bakersfield. He's in LA.
Oh, he's in LA. Oh, God.
He's in LA. And he is not in Bakersfield, but he says the fires get worse. He's on his way to Bakersfield. He's cutting ties and cutting down. But in any event, he said that what you're seeing on the news is you're seeing the big Palisades fire on the news, and there's a lot of little fires in the area around that are taking over acres of land. And what we're seeing on TV is actually worse than what we're seeing on TV, is what's happening out there. So, also too, I want to say that I know a lot of emphasis is put on the celebrities that are losing their houses, but let's keep it real. There are real people like you and me that are losing their houses also. There's the average everyday person that is losing everything. And not to be cold hearted or anything about it, but I saw a video online where it was Paris Hilton going around with a phone showing her house that was all burnt up and everything, and demolished by the fire. And I feel bad because you lost a lot of personal stuff, and it was your house and you lost it. But I don't know, Paris Hilton going through all her stuff. You're Paris Hilton. You have anywhere in the world to stay in a Hilton hotel. I don't.
Right.
I
So
I
it
have a
doesn't
hard
look
time
quite
with
the
that.
same.
There are real people out there who are losing things,
Hmm.
and their lives are in danger. Another friend of mine that lives out there said he
Sid's been on
is
the show.
huh.
I said Sid's been on the show.
Yeah, Sid's been on the show, and you met Sid actually at my wedding,
Okay.
and probably a few times after that. But Sid's out there now, and he sent me video of from his house him looking at fires, and he texted me
Wow.
yesterday and said, you know, the block, the like 2 or 3 blocks down, they evacuated, but and they're and in his neighborhood they're on alert to evacuate next
Wow.
if things get worse. And I was just texting earlier with my friend Gerald, who is also out there, who is, he's safe. He said he's safe and everything now. And also, too, I don't know if he's listening tonight or not, but we're talking about, our main topic is about the movie thing. But he says, just a couple of weeks ago, he met Erica Gempel
Oh wow. For the TV
because
show.
Gerald is an actor and director and producer out there. So
Hmm.
he said, just a couple of weeks ago, he met Erica Gempel. And I'm like, yo, is she still hot? He goes, yeah, man, she's hot. And he goes, she's a not nicest person.
Oh, that's cool. It's
She's
always
nice and
nice when you hear
kind.
that the people that you see on TV or the actors and celebrities in real life are down to earth. And I can imagine it could be hard because when you're meeting
Yeah.
people and people see you and they want you to be on. And I mean, I know from just my real life day to day, you're not always on, and you don't
No,
always want to be
no.
bothered. So, and
I
I
I
I
was
choose that life, but still, it's always nice to hear um, you know, when celebrities are, you know, the salt of the earth people that you would hope they would be.
I was having a conversation with mom yesterday about that very same topic, and we were talking about different things, and I was talking about the celebrities that I've met throughout the years, and the ones who were nice and the ones who were really nice, and the ones that were like kind of cold. And I'll tell you what, rest both their souls. Phyllis Hyman and Reggie White were two of the nicest celebrities that I had a chance to interact, like really interact with. Like I had drinks with Phyllis Hyman, and when I was working retail through college, Reggie White came into my store, and me and him we didn't even talk about football. We just
Oh,
had a
that's
really cool conversation.
that's nice. Don't tell me
So,
he was into comic books.
huh?
I said, don't tell me he was in the comic books.
No, we were talking about things other than comic books.
Okay.
It was the 90s. It was like the late 80s, 90s. So, I didn't tell a lot of people I collected comic books because I was too busy being that guy. I was cool.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I did not
I was a
know.
player.
I did not know you were cool back then. All right. So before we get into tonight's topic, which is where are they now, for the cast of Fame, which and we're talking the movie, not the TV show. The movie, which came out in 1980, is actually 45 years old this year.
Woo!
If that don't make you feel a little long in the tooth, that Fame is 45 years old. And I saw a Facebook post talking about, and again, I watched the show periodically. I think I've watched it more now because you were telling me about it, like Friends, and they were giving the age of like how old the little kids on that show would be, like how old Ben would be, and how old Emma and the triplets that when they were like in their 20s, and I'm like, wait, Ben would be actually 24 by now. That is a trip. Lisa's saying we met Spike Lee and he's very nasty.
Wow.
Wow, that that is so unfortunate. And I know I don't think I actually met him, but I did see him in person at a symposium for the movie Do the Right Thing. But again, when I went to that symposium where they uh, I don't think they even showed the movie. It was just a discussion of the movie in Brooklyn at the time. But actually, the most memorable part about that was that I met my friend Daryl, and that was kind of like the start of my kind of comedy career in New York. But anyway, let's get on with the show as we get into things. As we do here, our little format is to cover a little bit of some pop culture news to get us started, and then we'll be hitting our main topic, which is catching up with Where Are They Now, the cast of the movie, the 1980 movie Fame. They're
Yeah.
going to live
So,
forever.
Juanita, how you doing?
Hey, Juanita.
She's in the audience. So, first, starting on pop culture news is there's congratulations to be spread out, and this is a couple that I know a lot of people pull for because they look so cute together. Tom Holland and Zendaya are finally engaged. Rumor has it that Tom Holland actually did the traditional thing and asked her father and the parents first
Ah.
before he asked them there and let them, hey, I want to marry your daughter. He did the whole traditional thing, and apparently the family has a whole lot of respect for that traditional thing. I mean, as a man who is, old and divorced, don't get married. Don't get married.
They're
It's like
young
the movie
and full of
Purple
fight
Rain.
and
Do you love her?
everything.
Do you love her? Yeah, I guess. Don't marry her.
Okay. I know you love Prince, but somebody pointed out to me like one of the biggest goofs or gaffes in that movie Purple Rain is how come they had an outline of his father on the floor of the body, but he was in the hospital recovering. Things that
Okay,
make you
this
go,
show is not about pointing out
hmm.
the goofs in Purple Rain in a Prince movie. Hush your mouth, hush your mouth, hush your mouth. Moving on to the next bit of pop culture news, my ignorant behind sister. Look, Glenn Close says that Robert Redford was her best on screen kiss.
Oh, nice.
Not Michael Douglas, because I know they had that hot, steamy scene
Oh, from Fatal
from the
Attraction.
scene from Fatal Attraction. Not anyone else, but and she's acted with a whole lot of people.
Hmm.
But she says Robert Redford
Wow.
was her best on-screen kiss.
Nice. So
It's okay, Glenn. I have not become that famous actor that you've had a chance to do a love scene with. So you haven't kissed Kenny Walker yet. I understand how it is.
Okay. Moving on.
Cynthia, and
Arrivo.
you know I'm gonna pronounce this wrong because I always
Arrivo.
pronounce this. Orivo.
Arrivo. That's why, you know what? I jumped in. I
I
got your
know.
back because I knew
I
you
know.
were
Thank
going to
you.
say
Thank you.
something,
You know I was gonna mess that up. You know I was gonna mess that up.
Arrivo.
Anyway, and I had to put this in there because this is a bit of nerd news, and I don't get to do a lot of nerd news. Aribo revealed that her dream superhero role to play is Storm from the X-Men.
Ah. So
Now,
what
I
she
didn't
got?
see Wicked, so I haven't really seen, I don't think I've seen anything where she
I
has
haven't seen
performed
Wicked
in.
either.
I had to watch Wicked, and I had to judge her performance to see if she would
Now,
be
I
a
did
good
see
Storm.
her in oh God, what was that? Something about the El Dorado Hotel or some movie, and she actually sang in it, and she has a lovely voice. And
Okay, well,
I did see Harriet, which she was in, and I thought
I
she
didn't see
did a
Harry.
great job. And I'm always especially I think not excited, but I really enjoy watching English actors do American accents because I think sometimes
Well,
they
see,
do
here's the thing.
better than us.
Storm is actually from Africa. The character Storm is from Africa.
Oh, okay. So I know she can do it.
So Storm is not. Yeah, Storm is not an American, an African American.
Oh, okay.
So
She's an
Storm is
African
not.
African.
And speaking of African American superheroes or black superheroes, last week. Now I didn't put this on their thing, but this is a bit of news too. last week, the first issue of Sam Wilson Captain America came out. They did a reboot of it. Sam Wilson Captain America came out last week, and I tried to get a copy because I couldn't get to the comic book store. And they come out every Wednesday, and my guy said, "Kenny, it's sold out. You didn't have it on your list." And I'm like, "It's sold out?" And mind you, in the nerd comic book community, uh, books with black superheroes don't normally sell out.
Wow.
It's
So
not a normal thing.
so that means there's probably going to be a movie coming.
Well, there is a movie coming with
Is it
Sam Wilson,
Marvel or
Captain America.
DC?
Yeah, well, there is a movie coming with Captain America, Sam Wilson.
Okay.
So that is coming out this year. But here's the thing. This is like an African American fanboy's dream. This is like a black fanboy's dream because I've seen some pages from this, and they show every black Marvel's, just about every black Marvel superhero at a black barbecue with Luke Cage on the grill. You not. You not.
So are we doing
I
some
need to have this
stereotypical
book.
stuff?
I need to have this book, and hopefully, I have the first edition. If any of our fans go out to any comic book stores and you find Sam Wilson, Captain America #1 that came out last week, buy it
Buy it.
so I can have it and
I
send
don't
it to
even
me.
know if there's any comic book stores here in Statesville. I would take a look.
Oh, if there is one, find it
Find it.
and try to find that book because it's going to be worth something. And I need to have it.
You need to have it. All right.
I need to have it.
Captain America.
I need to have it like I need to have Janet Jackson when I become a star. I'm just saying.
All right. These are the things. All right.
I need to have it like I need to have Black Eyed Peas on New Year's Eve. I need to have it like I need to have it. I need to have it.
I need to see those pictures.
I didn't see no pictures. But
Sound
no,
like
so
that kid
anyway,
at Almost Christmas. I need to see
yeah,
those pictures.
I need to see those pictures. Cynthia, she wants to play Storm, and I hope she doesn't want to do it bald because the character Storm needs to have that white hair and that wig. She needs to have
Well,
that.
she
Like
wasn't.
that is
She
Storm.
wasn't bald
That
in
needs to have.
Wicked. She had.
Was
she
it?
had wigs. No.
Okay.
I think, and again, I think that's the hairstyle she's been rocking for interviews and things.
No,
But
I
she
love
had
it.
all
I
kinds
lald
of-
it.
She had all kinds of wigs and different things.
A
For Wicked.
bald
And in
woman.
fact, there was a I think she even had a role in how they designed the locks and things that she wore, as far as the wigs that she wore in that.
Yeah, I mean, a bald woman, especially a bald black woman, she can have my last dollar.
You have some.
I'm just
peculiar
saying.
taste. I'm just
She get
saying.
all this. She get all this.
And what
A
was she
bald black
wearing?
woman is so damn sexy. You don't know.
You are.
You do
are-
not know. That's the only reason I watch both the Black Panther movies on repeat all the time. Let me tell you something. Let me keep it real for you. A bald,
You
oh
don't have
man,
any kind of good sense.
a bald black. Oh shoot. There's a woman on the news here locally. I think it's Channel 3 News.
Mm-hmm.
I usually watch Channel 6, but I got to go to the other news because they have a bald black woman that does the news there. Oh my God. I don't even know her name.
You were just watching because it's a.
I'm not even paying attention to what's going on. Anything can happen. I'm looking at her.
Oh,
So
wait.
moving on.
Lisa was explaining, I think, what was going on. Purple Rain. It was a crime scene of an attempted suicide. But again, do they do they only usually do a chalk outline when there's an actual dead body? I would think.
We are so.
Because if they gotta call an
Believe-
ambulance, why? How do you have time
No.
to outline them in chalk?
We are so going to leave Purple Rain alone. Do not mess with the Prince movie. Do not mess
It's
with
a
one of the
big
best.
goof. I'm
You
just
know what?
saying. I mean, I'm sure there's a
We're
ton
gonna
of
move-
goofs,
we're We're gonna move on to our topic because you fitting to piss me off.
but fitting the. All right.
You fitting to piss me off.
Our topic tonight. I'm sorry. You're just making me laugh. Okay,
Oh man.
our topic tonight, as I said before, 1980 is when this movie came out, Fame. It has been 45 years. And actually, this was something you would think I would be the one who suggested it. As I've seen this movie, I, the count is probably in the hundreds, over definitely over 300 times. I probably could quote the whole movie. Love the movie. Absolutely hate the remake. I was a big fan of the
Well,
TV show. The remake
that
was
was horrible.
horrible.
I don't think I got through that remake. I don't think I got through that full remake. I think I shut it off before
I don't think
it was. It
I don't
was.
think I watched the full remake. I think I do have the DVD because I found it for like $2 in a discount bin, and I almost want
I,
them to
I,
give me my money back. It's like
I think I tried to watch it and I was like, this ain't Fame. Click. It's like when you remake a Magnificent Seven movie, they always stick close to what they're supposed to, and it's always good. You get seven guys together, you blow up a town, and you ride off as heroes. Some of them die, some of them live. There it is. But when you redid this Fame movie, I don't know what you was thinking about.
and here's the thing, because in the original Fame, it dealt with some pretty weighty themes and some
Yes, it
pretty
did.
intense topics. Everything from child pornography to teenage pregnancy to abortion and
Suicide,
homosexuality and just suicide, just a plethora of different issues that it dealt
identity
with that were
crisis,
very
and everything.
serious, but again, in a very real and compassionate way. And I don't even think they even touched on anything of substance in that remake. And I don't know whether they were basing it on a TV show or what, but okay, let's
Some,
not
some,
linger
some
there.
things are better. Some things are better left alone.
Oh, definitely. Some things you got to
Some
leave
things are
alone.
better left
But we
alone.
are actually digging back into the past 45 years ago. And if you
45
think about it,
years.
this cast, there were a lot of young actors in this cast. And for the most part, they were in their, like, late teens and early 20s who were a part of this cast. And I found some of these, it looks like promo pictures on the internet that I thought were kind of neat. You could just see these young talents. I don't think any of them had done anything substantial before Fame. If any of them,
Well,
it would be
well,
Irene
well. Hold
Cara.
on,
Okay, I'm sorry,
hold on, because one of them was in Greece too.
but that was after Fame.
Still, that was
I,
very substantial.
okay, if you say so. Anyway, yeah, really. Okay.
One of my favorite musicals, Grease too.
Okay, we know this. All right, but if anybody, I guess the only one you could say would have been Irene Cara, because she had a prior to Fame had appeared, I guess acting since she was about 8, and things such as um, Aaron Loves Angela and Sparkle. But for the most part, it was a lot of unknown talents, some of which actually went to the school which the movie was based on, the High School for
Yes,
Performing Arts. So, and
yes.
I didn't realize this, and I kind of think this movie actually influenced my desire to live in New York, and even to pursue comedy. That the seeds of this
Yes, yes.
movie must have been in the back of my head, unbeknownst to me. But hey,
And this is why I chose this. This is why I chose this because I know what you like, and I got your back. I got your back. I got your back. Damn it.
uh, oh, and look at those Gene Anthony Ray leg warmers. Oh my God, this is so
Yeah.
80s.
What was
You
the eight? It
gotta
was
love it.
1980, man. It was
1980.
1979, 1980.
You gotta
Before
love
we
it.
get into this,
Hmm.
how about you talk to the people and tell them how they can support us?
Well, already you're supporting us, but just hanging out with us on a Sunday. We thank you so much. Make sure you let us know in the comments where you're watching from. If you're watching on the replay, where you're watching from. If you were old enough to have seen Fame in a movie theater back in the 80s, let us know. You can reach us at Kathy and Kenny You can also catch us on Who's Got Next Radio on Tuesday nights. Kathy and Kenny is available wherever you get your podcasts. But the biggest way you can support us is free, and that's by simply clicking that thumbs up button, whether you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube. If you are on YouTube, please subscribe, Pop Culture Kids. We produce a weekly blog where we just take a pop culture subject and talk about it. So check us out on kathyandkenny.com and check out the weekly blog. All right. There you go.
Okay, so getting into our cast, we're going to start off with Eddie Barth. Eddie Barth played the father of one of the kids, and the reason I
Bruno
put him in
Martelli.
there, Bruno Martel, yes, the reason I put him in there, he wasn't one of the kids that acted. He wasn't one of the teachers, but he was very substantial to the plot because he well, number one, he was the cause of the big dance scene in the middle with the main theme song Fame. So he was responsible for putting that out there. He was a very good. Besides one of the other two actors that were in this, he was a very good comic relief. Eddie Barth sadly passed away in May of 2010 and was doing like little. When you see his face, you'll notice he's done a lot of bit roles, Murder She Wrote things and things like that. And he's been on a lot of like guest appearance on TV shows and movies and things like that. And that's how he finished his career.
Okay. Next up is
Next, we have Ann Mira, who
character
is famous
actor.
in her own right, even before Fame. Ann Mira is
One
the
half of
wife of
Jerry
half of
Stiller.
Stella Miller, Jerry Miller, and is the mother of Ben Stiller.
Hmm.
And she's an actress that has been in too many things to mention and is very talented. And she sadly passed away in May of 2015.
Well, again, if you think of the span of this movie, 45 years, it would be hard to imagine that most of the actors would still be with us. Um,
Yes.
but
And the
well,
most prominent role, most prominent point in her role in the movie Fame was she was that teacher that kind of pushed Leroy
mm,
to actually learn and read because Leroy was I'm a great dancer. I am fabulous. And I am a great dancer. And even though I'm fabulous, I'm still getting all these women fighting over me, but I am fabulous. And I don't need to
the
learn how to
darker the
read
berry, the
because
sweeter the juice. That's one of my favorite lines.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yes, but who
and
wants diabetes?
he's the one that cusses her out at one point, storms out of the classroom and cusses her out, and she just closes the door and lets him go. He's the one that comes up to her when she's in the hospital because her husband is sick, and he's coming at her, and she's like, "All you kids worry about is yourself."
Mm.
And
Well, I think
so
that
that
was
was
one of
Anne
the
Mary. She was
pictures I tried
very
to capture when he came to visit her in the hospital, and he's
yes.
like in his own selfish kind of worried about him and worried about not graduating and getting a dance for Alvin Ailey, and that's when she tells him, "All you kids worry about is yourself," and that's when he kind of asks her about her husband and you know
How's your old man?
kinda,
That almost sounds like a pickup line though in a certain ways. Certain circles, a woman's crying about, so how's your old man?
But and oh
Need
yeah,
something?
even that when you talk about like just like Leroy's illiteracy, there was just so much
Yes.
packed into this movie, and again, it was that other character in the movie, um, like New York City itself in like the early '80s was a much different New York City than I moved to in the late '80s, which was making that transition because now you go to Times Square and it's like what a mall used to be. It's kind of like the Vegasification or something of New York City,
And
and it's
Leroy,
not the sleazy, gritty place that it used to be with the you know porno theaters and just the sleazy characters. Um, I remember when I first moved there, and it was still bit of that grittiness of Hell's Kitchen, which I don't know whether it even has that now. You know,
And Leroy showed young brothers like me one thing, that we can get white women on the DL.
on the down low. Oh gosh. Oh, but oh yeah, it was.
Next we have next we have
This is
Albert
like
Haig.
I just gotta read this comment. Leroy in those tights with that bulge was a huge distraction.
Wow,
What do
Lisa.
you call that?
Wow.
What do you call that?
Really. Really.
Wicked. That was one of the
Wicked.
best
We call
lines
that
in the
wicked.
movie.
Next we have Albert
Albert
Haig.
Haig. That was
Albert
me
Haig.
not pressing the right button.
Okay. Albert Haig, he was a German born American songwriter and actor. So he was a songwriter, he was an actor, of course, American born songwriter and actor.
Wasn't he
He's been
actually
a
a
few
teacher at the school? At the I
I
thought he
don't
was
think he
actually.
was.
I thought he was actually a teacher at the school.
No, it was the other teacher, I think, the black teacher who I did not put on the list, who I think was an actual teacher at the school.
Oh, okay.
I believe, but I can double check and see.
Okay.
Um, but he was um, Bruno Martelli's teacher and one of Bruno Martelli's main teachers. And you know, that's not music, that's masturbation. That's what-
That's another classic line.
you
That's
know,
not
the
music.
sad part about it is we can recite lines from this movie from 45 years ago.
For 45 years ago, the fact that I can remember lines, I don't even remember what I did yesterday, but I can remember all the lines from Fame. You know, like you
Next
got
we
so many
have
songs, and you don't need anybody else. So you want to play all by yourself? You don't need anybody else. That's not music, Martelli. That's masturbation.
masturbation. Next we have Boyd Gaines.
Oh yeah, Boyd Gaines.
Boyd Gaines was the guy who, in high school, when they were all in high school, he was ahead of them in high school. So he was a senior when they were freshmen, and he was the guy that was supposed to be big and popular, and he was the guy that was going to make it.
Right.
And then, as they're seniors in high school or juniors, whatever,
4 years later,
they go, they go back, and he's a waiter.
which is the fate for a lot of actors that, you know.
Yeah, and it was like the realism of the art.
Mm.
Like you can be big in your little pond. Like don't go chasing waterfall. You can be big in your little pond,
Don't go chasing waterfalls. That's
but when you
good.
get to the
That's
big
a good
ocean,
reference.
you might get eaten up by the sharks, and that's what happened to him. So now he's waiting tables. But I put Boyd Gaines on the list also, even though his part was very small, and the one character did have a big crush on him. But Boyd Gaines was in one of the best '80s comedies of all time, Porky's.
The Porky's franchise. Oh my God.
He
The
was
original
he was only in the
Porky's.
first. He was only in the first Porky's. He wasn't in the whole
Oh, he
franchise.
wasn't in the
But he
whole
was the
franchise.
one. He was the one that found out why she was called what was she called, Mad Dog or whatever,
Hmm.
because she howled when you got her up in the equipment. Get up in the
Oh,
equipment
okay.
room. Get up in the equipment room.
But was he in the scene with the with Mrs. Where she was wanting to do the investigation?
Yeah, when she wanted to do the
And have a
investigation with
line
boys,
up.
and he was the one that made the joke like, I got a solution. Let's call a sketch artist.
And
We got pictures all about that. Is
that
the
scene in
class.
Porky's is a classic, and you know what makes it classic is as they're just losing it, and like, and again, it to me it's hard. A couple things are hard to fake on film, and that's like crying and laughing, and
Yes.
yeah, it seems so real, and I don't know how they did that or how they got the energy or how
Yeah,
many takes
I'm
they had to do that.
sure
But the
there has
best
been a lot
part
of takes on that.
was in the cinematography that the end kind of pans to a picture of like Eisenhower on the wall
Yeah,
with a smirk, almost like he's laughing at the joke too.
yeah.
Okay,
There
that's
has
a
been a
classic
lot of
scene.
takes on that, especially when he says tallywhacker,
Tallywhacker.
tallywhacker. But
All right.
Boy
So
Games is
now we're
also a
off
movie.
on another movie because
Yeah,
we're
now we're
supposed to
up
be
on another
talking
movie,
Fame,
Porky's,
19 the
which is totally
1980s version of
offensive
Fame.
now, but it's totally like when I leave this podcast, I want to go watch Fame and I want to go watch Porky's.
Mm.
But I cut ahead. We're going to go to Barry Miller.
Barry Miller. Now he
Barry
actually had
Miller
a little bit of success before Fame too, because he appeared in Saturday Night Fever. He was one of
and,
the
and after Fame, he appeared in Peggy Sue Got Married.
that's right. He was in Peggy Sue Got Married. So
He's in
true.
Peggy Sue Got Married. He played the nerd that Peggy Sue talked to in order to find out if she's really from the future and this, that, and the other. And he did the experiment and everything else. And then he was a nerd that everybody picked on. And when he came back to the high school reunion, he was rich and successful, which I like that part of it. Like, and but Barry Miller, who I'd love to see in more things because I think his role in Fame as the comedian who was going up and down and taking pills and trying to be funny and is going through this thing and
And
it
again, you
was
had
just
drug addiction. You had
he had drug addiction. It was childhood rape
oh yeah, that's right.
when his
His
sister
sister.
got molested. It was a poor guy who was trying to come up so he could take care of his family, and it was like there was so much going on in Fame
And him
that
coming out of the closet because it wound up. I thought the end kind of suggested that he was actually gay.
no, no, I didn't get that from the end.
I did, but maybe I'm
No.
wrong because him and Doris kind of went their separate ways. But that
Yeah,
maybe all his
and he,
bravado
and he,
was
sta-
masking
and he
that.
stayed and he stayed friends with the other character who was gay. But to me, that didn't mean that he was gay. That just meant that he was friends with him, even though he's not friends with her.
Okay.
Even though they broke up, I didn't. I took it as him joking around with him and not really being gay.
Okay. All right.
I
Maybe I
took it as him being a
misinterpreted.
comedian
All
and
right.
him going about his life being funny.
And can okay, and I don't know. I want to say this, and I'm not sure because nobody can confirm this for me. And even on the IMD Internet Movie Database, nobody can confirm this. But I actually remember watching this movie when I was in college because I actually wrote a review for the college. Well, wait, was I in college or high school? I can't remember. But I remember writing a review about this movie, and I watched it in the theater. And I remember seeing it in the theater, and at the very end, it actually had a coda where they kind of showed the screen of each character and what their outcome was, what their, and that's the only time I've seen that. Every time it played on cable or even on the DVD version that I have. And funny story, actually, three different people brought me the VHS when that movie first came out. Donna, my friend Un, and I think mommy and dad. That's how much I love this movie, and people knew how big a fan I was of this movie. I don't even know where those DVDs are now, but in any case, but I remember this being a part of the movie, but yet I can't find it on the internet or the interwebs or anywhere. So maybe I dreamed it, but I'm pretty sure when I first
Maybe
saw
I
that
dreamed it.
movie.
Maybe I'm gonna call it a dream because I ain't never seen nothing like that. And I did research for this today. I did
Okay.
research not today, but I did research this a few days ago for this, and I never came across anything like that.
Okay.
Next we have Paul McCrane.
Ah. And he
Paul
probably is one of the
McCrane,
most successful, like, Fame cast member or post Fame as far as working in the industry.
yes.
Maybe
Yes,
maybe
Paul
I'll
McCrane has
follow
worked in
you.
a lot of things. I think one of the things he's worked in was Cagney and Lacey.
Hmm.
He's worked in a lot of different TV shows and played a lot
Most
of different bit
notable,
parts and everything.
ER.
ER, yes,
Because
and
and again,
ER,
when
and
he
Paul Crane was a young child who was dealing with homosexuality,
or his
and
character.
not only that, but he was also dealing with identity because his mother was a famous actress. So he
Hmm.
had to live up to the fact that he wanted to be an entertainer, but he also had to live up to the fact that he had a mother that was already a famous actress.
Um, Montgomery McNeil.
Yes,
Again, that's
Montgomery
how I,
McNeil.
I know these characters like in the back of my hand. That is so sad, but so true. But Paul McCrane, like I said, ER. Most people know him from ER, but he has often stated that actually he performed two songs on the album, and he
Yes,
even said that in those lean times as an actor, that the residuals and the money that he got for those songs kind of helped sustain him in some of the tighter times. One of his
I love Dogs in the Yard.
oh yeah, um,
I think Dogs. I no offense. I think Dogs in the Yard is one of the better songs off the whole soundtrack.
Mm, I love I Sing the Body Electric. And but you know I'm an Irene Cara fan, so
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can't.
of course.
It's hard to
And then
be indifferent
I
behind
like the two people, the heavy set black guy and the heavy set black lady. And then time, we
we
will
will
all
all
be
be
stars.
stars.
Ooh
Ooh
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh yeah. I love
uh,
that. I love that.
that's plus the well we'll get to the other characters too, but you know, there were so many different storylines and plots weaving in and out of the movie that some of them you would hope we got more of, and we didn't. We only got like a little slice, but maybe, you know, again, just the balance of putting everything together. But one thing about Paul McCrane before we move on, because in addition to that role on ER that he was kind of known for, he also played a very memorable role on my other favorite show, The X Files. Leonard Bates, Leonard Betts rather, and that particular episode aired after the Super Bowl. So whenever you air something after the Super Bowl, it gets big views. But I know it was one of the most watched X File episodes, and it brought a lot of people into the show. But he was a guy who would seek out like cancer patients and kind of like suck the life or something out of them, but he could regenerate body parts. It was a creepy episode. It was one of my favorites. The Monster of the Week episodes were always my favorite X File episodes, but he was in that and he was amazing. But it is kind of funny when you look at him in this cast where he had the big like frizzy red hair, but then later on in life, that red hair goes bye bye and he just
Yeah.
was mainly known.
Sometimes when the hair goes, you just gotta shave it all off.
Gotta
There's no
shave it
shame to
off
the
and,
game.
and go with it.
There's
All
no
right.
shame to the game. Next we have Antonio Franceschi.
Mhm.
Franceschi. And she played the dancer who was after Leroy and, who wants diabetes,
Exactly.
So
Darker the
she
berry,
played this
sweeter the
dancer who
juice.
was very tooty, very tooty. Now, a lot of sometimes when you have actors in these movies and you don't see them on screen, doesn't mean they're not active behind the screen. So she actually became a very popular, very famous dancer and choreographer of different projects in stage plays and movies and things like that. And that's how she continued her career.
Okay. Bet.
Next, we have Laura Dean. Laura Dean, uh, she played the girl who started dancing and sucked. I don't even know how she got in. I don't know how she got in. But she was getting kicked out of that, and
Kicked
they
out
were
of the
all
dance
singing in
program.
the rain, and because
Singing in the
apparently
rain.
when you're from the School of Arts, you all you do when you walk around New York is sing and
Sing and
dance and
dance.
everything
That's
else.
You gotta wait down there for the
And
subway. Not Why not enjoy yourself? And actually,
yeah,
people perform in the subway now, and that's like big
yeah,
deal.
yeah, So and she was going to jump off, and they wanted to stop her. And Lisa, and she stops, goes, "F it, I'll just go into acting." So she now one of the things you might know her in at the thing is that for a season she played a co-worker of Rachel in Friends,
Oh, okay.
and this was a co-worker who she was very funny actually
I
in Friends on the
remember.
bit parts that she had because she got no respect from the boss.
Right. I
They treat
remember.
everybody in the office treated her like she was just like the bottom, and she was totally kissing ass the whole time, but she still got no respect. And even when she said something to agree to the boss go, stop kissing my ass. Like, stop sucking up. So there you go. So that's Laura Dean. Next, we have Maureen Teefy.
Hmm.
Maureen Teefy, I always thought was cute anyway.
Doris Finsecker.
Doris Finsecker was always adorable. I'm sorry. Doris Finsecker is adorable. Um, now, after fame, you might know her from Grease too, because I know everybody's seen Grease too.
Nobody has seen Grease 2. You're the only one. You are the only one.
Grease 2 is way better than Grease 1, and I will die by that. I will die on that hill that Grease 2 is better than Grease 1. I'm sorry. That's the truth. I want you to watch Grease 1 and watch Grease 2 back to back, and I guarantee you have more fun watching Grease 2.
Said no one ever. But okay. Moving on.
But Doris Finsecker had the problem of, and this is another thing that they don't, that another issue that was covered, but not really. I mean, Doris Finsecker had the thing of her mother pushing her,
Hmm.
so you had that like stage mother thing.
Oh yeah, that's like a
You had the
classic.
stage mom thing where her mother's pushing her to do this and do that and singing places where she's really not that good of a singer,
Sing out,
and
Louise.
yeah. So you had the stage mom kind of mentality pushing her, and it was like okay, and she had this thing to do great and be good, and she was always trying to be this great actress. So, and one reason I think in her character was trying to be this great actress because she didn't want to disappoint her mom. You know.
Hmm.
Next, we have Debbie Allen.
But and that's where okay, before we get to that, but that's where this
Oh, I'm sorry.
is such a great kind of like coming of age movie because you see these characters kind of developing over the 4 years of high
Exactly.
school, and you see this character Doris. Well, I think she became Dominique, but in any case, kind of being ruled by her.
Well, it was Dominique. What? It was Dominique.
Um, I wanted to say Devereaux, but then I'm thinking of designing women. What was I can't remember. Now I
It
gotta
was
go watch
Dominique
it.
something.
I gotta I gotta go watch it again. But
Yeah, yeah.
her wanting her coming of age and kind of learning and breaking out of her shell and becoming more of herself. So I thought
Yes.
yeah, and there were just so
Yes.
many great themes in this movie. Now, is it a perfect movie? No, but it just
No movie is perfect
in its imperfections, to
except
me,
Grease
it just
2.
had so much. Uh, but
Next, we have Debbie Allen.
and this to me is interesting, and I know a lot of people associate her with the movie because originally I think she had auditioned for Coco, but because she was such a prominent part of the TV series, but actually in the actual film, her film time was very limited, only to like the auditions and a few of the scenes when they showed some of the work of the teachers, and again, her classic line, "What do you call that?" Wicked.
Wicked.
Yes.
And the thing about it, the reason Debbie Allen's on is even though she had a very small part in this movie, the reason Debbie Allen's on is because when this show moved to TV,
Hmm.
she became one of the primary teachers in the show and one of the primary characters in the show. And not only that, but Debbie Allen is known for being a fabulous dancer, singer, entertainer, actress, choreographer, the whole 9 yards. And I think one of her most prominent works is her directing Different World.
Hmm.
After she did this, she directed Different World, and Debbie Allen is still a beautiful woman out here working in the entertainment industry.
Crushing it.
Yes, and
And
her
a
age,
talented
Debbie
family.
Allen can still get it.
And her sister as well, Felicia Rashad. Although I haven't
Oh
seen
yeah, Felicia Rashad. Oh yeah. Now, did you know that Debbie Allen and Felicia Rashad released a single in the '80s?
No, I didn't. Who
They
didn't
released a
release a
single in
single
the
in the
'80s. There's a
80s?
video with them doing a single, and I forgot the name of the single, but they released a single in the '80s with them dancing through New York and doing this single and doing a video for the single.
I did not
So
know.
Felicia Rashad and Debbie Allen. I think it was probably when Cosby was popular or something like that.
Of course.
But they released a single,
You
and
gotta
these
cash
two
in.
beautiful. these two beautiful sisters, you know, literally sisters in both senses, are both talented to the max and both beautiful to the max. And speaking of her sister, I resent the fact that a lot of women not of color did not like Mrs. Huxtable because of her strong stance.
Mm.
And they did not like Mrs. Huxtable because she was an unapologetic black woman on TV who was strong without her husband. Because if you watch Cosby episodes, there's a lot of times when Cliff Huxtable said, "You on your own, like you dealing with her now. You, I can't even. I'm gonna stay over here. I'm gonna stay over here. You on your own." Because this is a strong black
I'm gonna
woman,
stay in my
and I think
lane.
a lot of times that was hard for some people in America to take. But we loved it because the Cosby Show was still this day one of the best shows or representation of people of color on TV. So, you know,
And it's
that was
kind of
Debbie
it's
Allen.
kind of a shame that because of the other issues and the the court cases and politicizing of it, that it's hard to find now in reruns, when there was a time when
Yes.
you could always find it in reruns. And even now I'm noticing that like Nick at Night, who used to do like all the old TV shows, that now they're cycling through, like it's weird to see them cycle through sitcoms from the early aughts or the early 2000s, and it's like, oh wait, like that's what's considered like whatever was like 20 years ago now is
Yeah,
being kind of
Speaking of the Cosby Show,
they're still
did you
showing like
see?
Friends and now Modern Family, which I never watched, so I'm actually finding it now. It's actually pretty
I want
funny.
to try Modern Family out. I want to try Modern Family out
I've
because I've
been
never watched that.
enjoying it.
But speaking of the Cosby Show, and earlier we were talking about Captain America. Did you see where Anthony Mackie wore a Gordon Cottrell shirt on a late night show
Oh wait,
recently?
I think I saw that in a reel or something.
Yeah, Anthony Mackie wore a Gordon Cottrell shirt to a late night show. I think it was, I forget what show it was, but he wore a late night. He had a Gordon Cottrell shirt on, and I'm looking at the interview on the clip, and I'm like, is that a Gordon Cottrell?
Okay,
Is
now
that
what?
Denise Huxtable? Gordon Cottrell?
Oh.
Like I'm like, yeah, you're blowing my mind with this, man.
All right, hey, we only got about 5 minutes, so let's hit the rest of this list.
Next we have Lee Carreri,
All right,
who
Bruno
is
Bruno Martelli.
still with us.
He was like only one of two, right? Or I'm sorry, one of four original cast members to transition over to the TV series, if I'm not mistaken. We
Yes,
had Albert.
Bruno Martelli came over to do the TV series,
Mhm.
and he was in the TV series as Bruno Martelli with the curly hair and everything. As you see, he doesn't have the curly hair anymore. He continued to do writing. He made his own studio. He had his own studio. I don't know if he still has his own studio. I was trying to check and see if it was still active, but I know he has his own studio. Continued to do songwriting and producing and play with different bands.
Mm,
And
awesome.
so that's how he did. And Bruno Martelli in the movie was this kind of guy who was very gifted, very talented, and he was that guy you couldn't tell anything to. I think if they had autism in the movie, Bruno Martelli would have been autistic
Well,
because he was that guy
and again,
that
back
you
in the
couldn't say
80s,
anything to. Yeah,
I'm sure there were people who had different diagnoses, whether it was autism or even ADHD and OCD and all the things, but we didn't have the vocabulary for it, or we didn't have the understanding of it, and probably labeled it differently. But that's probably would be a trait of his character, of his character. But
but Bruno
again, he had to
Martelli
make good
wasn't
choices.
interested. Bruno Martelli wasn't interested in women. He wasn't interested in anything else except music. He was like Sheldon
Well,
focused.
no,
Like
not
Sheldon was focused on science. He's focused on music because I don't think our tits are up to it.
But he did become interested after she sang "Out Here on My Own."
Yeah, but he really didn't show it.
Well, no, but still, you could tell he was kind
She
of
was
like,
singing out here about. He was looking like, hey, but he really didn't say anything or do anything about it because
but his dad was
he's more
picking
into
up
his
on it.
music. His dad was picking up on it. Dad was like, "Yo, dude,
I'm trying to
I'm
hook
trying to
you
be your
up.
wingman. I'm trying to be your wingman.
Can you imagine your
Dog,
dad as
you
your
messing
wingman?
me up. I'm trying to be your wingman." I'm like, I'm
I love this movie so much. I'm gonna have to go watch this movie when we're done. You realize that now? I don't.
yeah,
Do
I
you know
know.
what
Next
streaming
we have
service
Gene
it's
Anthony
on?
Ray.
Kenny, do you know what streaming service it's on? We need to check.
No, but I can find out for you right now.
Okay, let's check
Um,
to see where it's
let's
available.
check to see what streaming service is on. Okay,
We might
let's
need to
check and
go
see
watch
where it's
Fame
at.
after we're done.
I
And we're talking
well, you can
original
watch
Fame.
Fame after you're done.
Don't watch that crap that
Don't
they
watch the
released.
crap movie.
Was that in the 90s? I think it was in the mid
It was in the
90s
2000s, I
or
believe.
2000s. Ugh, I don't even want to know. And it was just so horrible. So Kenny's going to
Uh,
look that up. While he's looking it up, we'll go to our next.
well,
And we're
Fame
doing
can be seen on Pluto,
Pluto is free, right?
Amazon Prime for $4. Amazon Prime for $4, Apple TV for $4, and it can also be seen on MGM Plus.
Oh, I don't have MGM Plus. That's right. It was a Metro Goldwyn Mayer
So
movie.
and Fandango Home, but you have to pay to see Fame. That 2009 version, you can see that if you want to,
You don't want to.
but I don't recommend seeing that.
I don't either.
The TV show, which is also good, and one of the things that made the TV show good was Janet Jackson was in it for a brief period of time.
For a brief period of time. But no, again, public service announcement. Whatever you do, stay away from that Fame remake. I would go back and watch the TV show
Yeah.
before I watch that Fame remake. Just stay away. Just stay away. Trust me.
Yeah, I could definitely watch the TV show before I watch that crap. So next we have Gene Anthony Ray. Gene Anthony Ray passed away from HIV complications in November of 2003. Sadly enough, Gene Anthony Ray, towards the end of his life, he was not doing very well, and I don't believe he had a lot of money or anything. But before he did pass away, and after Fame, he did do a lot of choreography. He appeared in the movie Eddie with Whoopi Goldberg as a choreographer. He had done, I read where he had done some cruise line ships and done some dancing on some cruise line ships. But there are reports of at some points before the end of his life that where he was homeless, and there are some points where he had some bad times, before he passed away. But right after Fame, he did do a lot of choreography, dancing for other people because at the time of Fame, and then he did the TV show Fame, he was Gene Anthony Ray, and you knew him for that dancing. But then I think after the TV show kind of faded out, he kind of lost his favor, and he was known for partying and having a time. At one point, he was living with a dancer, I believe, overseas. He was living with a female dancer overseas or a model or something like that. So, but he did pass away from complications of HIV.
Okay. Because, and I know in the years that I lived in New York, I think I kind of encountered him twice. And one time it might have been a couple years after the TV show. And it was like, I don't know, I was at a club or something. And it was just like on the streets. And he was like with some people. He was in full party mode. And when you say he was living with a dancer, yeah, a female dancer, that part I'd have trouble believing because I kind of think, you know.
Damn, Kathy, you didn't have to go that. You didn't do that.
But I'm just saying that just from what I experienced him on the street. And then, but the next time I saw him, it was much later. And I don't know, it might have been a couple years before he passed away. It was actually on the subway. And he didn't seem to be in a good space because a part of me wanted to say something, but then it was a crowded subway. And, I don't know whether it was the right space or place to say anything. But I did see him like riding subways in New York. But okay, anyway.
Yeah, and that's one of the sad parts of stardom and Hollywood, the party life, and people who have that opportunity to do something different than a lot of people get a chance to do, and things going out of control, and people letting that opportunity go to have the longevity that it could have. And we don't know what happened. We don't know what's going on in his mind. We don't know what his life was like. But it's very sad that we lost someone
And I think that's
who
the
we
thing
didn't get to see.
people,
I don't think we got to see the full potential of.
I think that's the thing people need to realize, especially when they are pursuing those goals and they want the fame, they want the success, they want the money. And I mean, you can have the fame, the attention, and the money, but it doesn't always change your situation. And sometimes it amplifies who you are. So if you have those addictions, if you have that narcissistic personality, then that only feeds it and
It's
it's
going
going
to
to
amplify it.
it's going to amplify it, and it might not always be to your good. So it, it's one of those be careful what you wish for kind of situations. That's all I
Last but
got.
not least, we have Irene Cara, one of Kathy's favorites.
One of my
Irene
favorites.
Cara sadly passed away in November of 2022,
Mm.
but she is known for Flashdance, What a Feeling. She has a few records. I know this because my sister, when we were young teenagers, played what records she had every damn day.
Wanna be hurt
Every
again.
day.
It's too steep a price. You hurt
That,
me.
don't start right now. Don't start right now. Not only will she play that, but we first got a taste of Irene Cara when she played in the movie Sparkle as the lead
Oh
character
my
in
gosh,
Sparkle. That's
Sparkle!
when we first got a taste of
Not
Irene
just
Cara.
Irene Cara,
And
but Lynette McKee. Oh my God!
yes, we
What
had a
can I
lot of
do?
people
Mm, mm.
in every the guy from Miami Vice, what's his name?
Philip Michael
Uh
Thomas. Come on now,
Louis
come
Michael
on with it.
Thomas.
Philip Michael
Who else was
Thomas.
in that Sparkle? Anyway, Irene Cara was in Sparkle. Then she did Fame. Then she did
Many
a
other ones.
cameo on DC Cab. She did a lot of recordings and a lot of singing after Fame. A Flashdance, of course, which was number one, and it was the soundtrack for a number
E-
one movie back at
even
those
though
times
even
in
though
the 80s.
the movie Fame and the song Fame, it did win an Oscar. She didn't win an Oscar because she didn't write it, but Flashdance with a
Yeah,
Feeling was a song that she did write.
yes,
So
she did right there.
so she was an Oscar winner. I believe a Grammy winner. I don't think she won a Tony, and I don't think she had an Emmy, but
No,
she did do some notable
she wasn't the
TV
EGOT.
roles
She was not
in
the EGOT.
as Medgar Evers' wife in the Medgar Evers story, as well as what was the Jim Jones movie? I forgot what it was called.
Yeah, she played in the Jim Jones movie
And
also.
she appeared in this. It was like a TV drama. It was really it was written almost like a play. It was by Maya Angelou. It was called Sister Sister, and she played in
Yes.
that with Rosalind. Uh, Cat Rosalind, what was her name? Gosh, I can't even remember. I'm drawing a blank. But in any case, but just a great actress. Although she did say, because of some of the, I guess, people that she had dealt with, that at one point she got kind of blackballed in in the music industry, and I guess her career never hit the heights that she had experienced after Flashdance. So, and again, I'm not quite sure what had happened. Some people, one report I read, because she had died and was found in her home in Florida, that she had become a bit of a recluse and a hermit. I know at one point she did have an Irene Cara podcast, and I listened to where she talked about. Yeah, she did play on a couple TV shows. There was I forgot one show that she was kind of featured on, but she did have a band called Caramel or Caramel. Caramel. I don't know, but anyway, it was an all female band. But I don't know whether they ever released an album. But I know at one point, there was talk, and she was trying to make this, I guess, kind of comeback. But again, doing it independently, and again, the music business just is
Yeah,
not a
it's
pretty
kind of hard.
place. And
Irene Cara died at the age of, she passed away at the age of 63.
63.
She had diabetes. A lot of her complications of her death were from diabetes. At the time of her death, she was a recluse. She was a little bit of a recluse. She resided in Florida. She lived in Largo, Florida, and maintained a secondary address in Newport Richey, um, where her company Caramel Productions was located.
Caramel, yeah.
So that's what. So she had to. So I mean, she wasn't one of these. She was one of these stars that was reclusive and kind of in the background towards the end of her career. She wasn't like Jean Anthony Ray, where she had fallen down and was totally broke or anything like that. She was still doing things and having things happen because obviously she was able to have two different residences. But
I
she
know.
had heart disease was one of the reasons that she passed away.
Mm.
And she was just a beautiful woman, all around beautiful woman. Um, you know, it was Irene Cara. I can see why the guy in DC Cab had such a big crush on her because it was Irene Cara, man. Crap.
Um, well, I know that. Oh gosh, at the time of her passing, and in fact, I didn't even know about her passing. I was about to take a run in the park, and you had sent me a text going, "Hey, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah. Why wouldn't I be okay?" and because you kind of broke the news to me, and it's so interesting because you could tell the stars and the celebrities that I like and that I follow. Irene Cara is actually someone I saw in concert, and I think at the time I didn't even have, I don't know, I maybe I had a driver's license, or I don't know whether I could drive, but I think. My dad like drove me to Atlantic City at one point to see a show, and I didn't have a ticket for him. I had enough to get me a ticket, and or not that he even wanted to come, but took me to see Irene Cara. So I have seen her live in concert because I was that fan. But it
Um,
was so funny because in addition to Irene Cara, the other person I remember my aunt Mary calling to check on me. The day after Christmas, when Tina Marie died, because he was like,
yeah.
"Is Kathy okay?" And I'm like,
I think I called you then. Just the
"Yeah."
same as you just the same as you text me when Prince died.
Oh yeah, it was like, "Hey,
Because I remember when Prince died because I was at work and I had my headphones on listening to music. And a song went down, like I couldn't hear what anybody was talking about because that's what I do at work. I put my headphones, especially before COVID, I put my headphones so I could drown everybody out and just do my work. And the song, between songs, there was no sound in my headphones. And I heard somebody say, "Don't tell Kenny. Don't say nothing to Kenny."
the
And
headphones
I
fell
took my
out."
headphones on, like, "Don't say what to Kenny." And then like, oh, and everybody else was like, "Oh man." It's like they found the body at Paisley Park. And I'm like, yeah, well, that was some other body. That wasn't Prince. That was like,
Mm,
you know, that was like Jerome or somebody. I don't know. It wasn't Prince.
yeah,
And
it
sure
was.
enough, it was Prince.
I know. Oh,
So and
that's
then
what I was gonna say. Actually, for
I had a lot
Iron,
of people call me as if I knew him personally. And I'm
right?
like, yo,
Because you're such a big fan. I know for Irene Cara, and I know because I'm a part of some of the like the fan boards and different things. Like back in the day, we used to have this thing called CompuServe, and you would be in different uh, boards and different things, kind of like Reddit is today. But on Facebook, if you're part of different groups, and I know there was one posting for Irene Cara that they wanted to have a memorial service, but out in LA, but it was in 2022, and we still hadn't fully kind of come out of COVID, and they didn't want people to gather. So I don't even know if that actually ever occurred, whether they did something to kind of honor her memory, because for folks who died between like, you know, 2020 and 20, like late 2022, a lot of times we weren't able, to
yeah, we weren't able to honor those
give them their
people a
flowers
lot.
and
Yeah,
honor
a
them.
lot of
So,
times. Yeah.
but anyway, but That's kind of a bummer we kind of ended on. But
Yeah.
the one thing that I think wasn't as bad a bummer was just kind of going down memory lane to kind of go back some 45 years to kind of celebrate this movie and
Yes.
where are they now? That I guess I know it had an impact on me being a
Yeah.
performer in the early 90s in New York City. And I think this movie probably impacted me to want to do that. So it had a profound effect uh, on me and on what was possible. So,
Well, here you go too. I mean, this is a very good movie. It's a very impactful movie, and if you actually look past a lot of things that you actually see the movie for first, and some of the things that we talked about with the movie, you'll see how substantial this movie was. And I think it's great that we talked about it, and I think personally that it's awesome that the two of us could sit here and talk about a movie that we have had the longevity to talk about a movie that we've seen 45 years ago.
wow, I know.
So that's the way we have to look at it on a more positive note. You know me, I'm always being positive and productive. On a more positive note, that's the way we have to look at it. That we are here to talk about a movie that we've seen as young
45
teenagers
years ago.
45 years ago. Yes,
Wow.
45 years ago. And we
Wow.
have lived through that. Next week, Kathy and I are going to talk about what's coming in theaters in 2025.
Ah, the
Because
new movie.
2025 is going to be a good year for movies, and we are going to talk about what's coming to theater. Of course, I am focusing on things like the Superman movie, the Captain America movie, and the Fantastic Four movie that are coming. But
Oh,
there's so
there's a
many
new.
other different movies that are coming to theaters. Huh?
There's a new Fantastic Four. Isn't this like the
Yes,
third
there's
or
a new
fourth time
Fantastic
that
Four
they've
movie
tried?
coming this year. There's a new Superman movie coming this year, and a Captain America movie coming this year, and a Thunderbolts movie coming this year. I am totally ready to geek out this year.
Okay, so in other words, we're gonna have to divide it up into two categories: the superhero movies, uh, the chick flicks, and then for everybody else.
Yes. Yeah, and for everybody else. And you know what? Screw everybody else because I don't really care about them. Look, once again,
True, true.
we are going to send our heartfelt compassion to the people who are going
Compassion
through it in LA.
and prayers. Hmm.
We wish you the best. If you're in the LA area, if you're near the fire zone, please, please stay safe. Evacuate when they tell you to evacuate. Do not take what you can, but do not try to save your whole house. And please get out and stay safe because
Just
we'd
stuff.
rather have you here next week to watch us again than not at all. So please stay safe and be safe and be careful of fires. And come join us next week where we talk about what's coming to theaters in 2025. And I want you to be safe, and we'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week. As always, in parting, we wish you love, peace, and pop culture.
God bless your soul and keep living. Peace.
Kathy and Kenny here to say, pop culture fun in every way. Music, TV, movies,
Thank you for
also
geeking out
right.
with Kathy and Kenny on Kathy and
Join
Kenny
us for
Explain
a
Pop
blast
Culture.
tonight. Sister and brother rocking the flow, sharing all the things you need to know. Kathy and Kenny always in the mix. Pop culture, fun fix to fix. Pop culture kids, podcast crew. Tune in and let the topics move. Kathy and Kenny make it fun. Pop culture talk for everyone. It's for everyone. I brought some for everyone.